So, after talking to the county today for my protest on taxes, I was pretty much told to come back. And so I went in there very unprepared, very lost, very confused on what to do because of the fact that normally in the past for me, when I run comps on my house, I'm able to find a lesser value, right, than what the county appraised my house at. And so this year, I was not able to do that, which probably is what a lot of you are going to deal with because of the fact that homes around the area are just selling for a lot more. And so I didn't take anything but comps in there. I didn't take anything in there really other than a notepad and some stuff that I wrote down on a notepad. And this is what I was trying to do to fight my case. And so I'm going to show you guys real quick just what I was thinking about doing. And so I will check it out. And so this is my house. My house is 2,100 square feet, and they appraised my house at, here, 338, which is like the market value, right? And so what I was trying to do was this. And so remember, 2,183 square feet, and then 338. What I was trying to do was this. I was trying to do this. And so I found a house that was set out for 2,056 square feet in my neighborhood. And that one is set for 312, right? So for me, I was like, okay, here's a house that is around a little bit smaller than me, but you have it appraised at 312. Then I saw this one, and I was like, here's 2352, also appraised for 313. Keep in mind, mine is at 338. And so I went in there, and I was like, here's 2156 at 312. Here's 2352 square feet at 313. Here is, let me go up a little bit and see. Here is 1,800 square feet with a pool and a spa at 318. Here is another one that is, let me look real quick. This is 1,800 square feet at 312. And then this is the last one, which is the 2,500 square feet at 312, right? And so, again, I'm looking at this and I'm like, okay, you got me at 21 at 338, and then you've got this person at 312 at 21. You got this person at 23 at 313, and then you have this person at 18 at 318, and then the last one, I think, probably the last one was 18 at 1,800 at 312, and then this one was again 2501 at 312. And so because this is what I just went in there and tried to do, because I ran comps on my house, and unfortunately, which is probably what a lot of us are going to deal with, is, because of the activity that's going on in the industry, home prices are going up. There's nothing we can do about that. People are paying for that. Again. And so when I ran comps for my house, this year, I was not able to find houses that have recently sold that were less than the 338 that I'm seeing right here on my house. And so when I ran comps, I was not able to find anything around this square foot that was around this price that it sold. Everything was over that. And so from a comps perspective, it did not help my situation. And so what I ended up having to do is I went in there and I was like, look, this is why I took the evidence of all these other appraised homes that were lower than mine in my neighborhood. And I said, because comps don't work, I can't take that in there. What's my next option? For me, I was like, well, let me just take this and see what they say. And so I took my little notepad with everything on there that's written down, and I said, this house is appraised at this, and then I just went through the list. And so I'm just curious as to what formula you guys used to find their value at 312 and then my value at 338, because there's houses that were at almost to 400. And so I'm not worried about those. I just want to know what's the difference between the lower amounts and then the mine, right? And so because I'm trying to work on bringing mine down. And so because I didn't have comps, this was my next best thing. I went in there and I was just like, look, what's going on? And she said, pretty much, comps aren't going to work for you because you are at a lesser value that we gave you compared to what's on the market. And so it'll instantly eliminate comps off of that evidence deal. The only thing that I have in my particular situation as far as a fighting chance is to take this current value that they have me at the 338, and then what I have to do is I have to go around my house. I have to take pictures of all the damages, all the stuff that needs to be fixed in my house, and I need to get quotes for it. And so what they do is they take all this evidence into consideration because I'm already at market value, right? Like I'm not over market value. I'm actually under, right? And they're not going to raise my taxes up. They can't do that. And so arguing comps doesn't work. So the only thing that I have left to do is to fight the condition of my house. And so in order for me to do that, again, take pictures, print them out, also get some quotes, and then take all this evidence that you have, and I'm going to go up to the board and I'm going to say, hey, this is what I found. I'm still going to argue this because it doesn't make sense to me. And so I'm going to see if I can get them a little riled up, get them a little confused, kind of get them chasing their tail, and see if they even know what they're talking about. And so because what I'm finding out is that when I start asking questions based on what they give me, they also can't really break that down. And so it's a very weird, interesting, complex system because I have ran into arguments where I make a point and then instantly they're like, yes, you're correct, but there's also this that we take into consideration. And then that's not the argument at the very beginning. And so because I got time and I actually want to know how this works, I'm going to take it up to the board. I'm just simply going to go in there and just ask. Based off what I found in the neighborhood, I'm wondering why you guys have some houses that are smaller and larger than mine assessed differently. And then this is the evidence that I have found based on what my house needs. And so I'm just going to go in there and ask and just see what I can come up with and see if I can get my value down. And so, again, you can use comps as a form of protesting your taxes, your appraised value. And then if that doesn't work, you can also use the condition of the home. Now, if you recently bought your home, there's also something you can do. You can also take the documents that you have from this recent purchase of this home, and only if the case is that they sent you a appraised value higher than what it is that you paid for, you can present these documents and say, hey, this is what I paid for. This was the market value of this house. Here it is. And again, if it's lower, they will bring it down to what it is that you paid for. Now, if you are in a situation where comps don't help you, it's you haven't recently bought it, and the condition of your home, you keep up with your house fair, right? There's honestly really nothing you can do. You don't have a fighting evidence. You don't have a fighting case. And so what I would suggest is to really just take what you got. And if you got a weird situation and you have some questions, just give me a call. Send me a text. Message me on here. Send me a DM. And I hope this information helps. Make sure you have your homestead exemption. Also, make sure that you're protesting this if it makes sense and you have the evidence. So again, step one would be use your comps. And if that doesn't work, which is probably going to be a little bit hard because of what we're seeing in the market and prices increasing over the industry as a whole, and they're being sold, it might be a little hard to do. And then especially if you're in that window where your house isn't super old and you've only been in it for maybe, I don't know, under 5 years, and comps don't work, you're going to have to try to find things that nitpick the condition of this house and maybe find the things that you dislike about it, you know? And so try to present that as evidence and get some quotes. But other than that, you may be in a position where yours goes down and you don't have to fight it. Hopefully that's your case. Congratulations. And then that's it. Other than that, like I said, if you guys have any questions, concerns, or need a little bit of guidance from your boy, let me know. Peace. Oh, hit the wrong button on that one.